In this video I would like to show you a little bit about perspective, and especially I would like to explain a bit about the horizon that is being used in drawing perspectives. Now, the horizon corresponds with the eye of the viewer, and that is interesting to know. So, for example, if I would sketch a little person here, I'm not so good in sketching persons, but maybe you can imagine that here's someone standing in the door, and his eye is around somewhere in the middle of the head. So let's say it is over here. Now this is interesting because when we imagine that this man, this little person, is standing not in the door but in front of this house, and we are watching the house through his eyes. So imagine that you are this person with his size. Then this is the horizon. Now if we want to make, so now I'm going to turn this house into a 3D house, and I do that while watching through the eyes of this person, but then this person is not here, but it is standing and watching, looking at this house. Now, in this particular case, I will make the drawing with one point on the horizon. I could also choose 2 points, but then the front would needed to be drawn in perspective as well, and I didn't do that. So all the horizontal lines of this house will move toward the point on the horizon. And again, the horizon corresponds to the level of your eyes, of the eye of the watcher. And that can also be the lens of a camera that is making a picture. Because if you look at the picture, you will see that if you make a picture of a city or of a building, you will see the horizon is always at the level of where the lens was. So for example, I'm going to do that later on. So now the viewer is just on the ground, but in the next phase of this video I will move the viewer upstairs, and then everything will change. The horizon will change as well. But first let's finish this little house. Now what if there is a window exactly in the middle of this wall? Then I can find the middle by making a cross like this, and then here is the middle of the window. The window, I think, is just as high as this one, so I will transfer this point to the side of the wall, and then bring it to the point on the horizon. It's not completely accurate, but I need to be very precise. I want to be very precise. You don't have to. But now I'm going to look for the middle section, or wait a minute, I made a mess of it. I'm going to do it again, because with several lines that are not so precise, it may be hard to see for you what I'm actually doing. So first I will, this is the top of the window that I'm going to draw, and this is the bottom. Now I'm going to look for the middle, the center point, and I could do that right like this. You can also do it from this point to this point and this point to this point. It really doesn't matter. It is this point. This is the middle. And then I will find the center point of this area, just because I like it. I really like this constructing these perspectives. Now, these are a lot of lines, so I will now take my 0.3 pigment liner to and here we have a window. Well, that's a shame, but now this is the perspective when the viewer is on the ground. Now let's take a bit of tracing paper, and now I'm going to trace the house, only the front, and then we will change the perspective. I will do that with ink instantly, because otherwise it would take too long, I think. So let's see if I can. I'm only going to draw the front of the house, because the sides and the roof will change. Well, I'm not being very precise with my drawing. That is because the camera is in front of me and I have to bend over the camera, so it's a bit hard to be precise with my line drawings, but I hope you don't mind. Okay, now I'll take the other one away, this one. Now, in the first drawing we had the perspective of someone who is standing on the ground. Now we're going to change it to someone who is here. So imagine that in front of this house there is another house, and the person is looking at this house from the second floor. Now, if this person is looking at this house from the second floor, then the horizon is over here. Oh, no, maybe we should copy the point. You can choose another point, but maybe it's fun to see what happens if we transfer the point. So here. And now let's make those lines happening again. Everything, every line that is horizontal, that is moving away from you, is going to that point. There's another one I would like to copy from the original. And that is this line. So let's now let's go for that window. There are a lot of lines again. They can be complicated, all those lines. It takes some concentration and focus, but so. Let's see if we can clear the mess. So let's finish the house. So let's now put the two next to each other. And I hope you can see that with changing the horizon, you change the look of the side of the building. So if you are standing higher, then you will see more of the roof. And if you stand lower, the house will appear higher, to be larger. I hope this is. I hope the difference is large enough to see it. But this is the idea of perspective and horizons. So whenever you are going to draw or use a perspective in a drawing, remind yourself that the horizon, so this line, and here this line, tells you everything about the position of the viewer. So when the viewer is low, then the horizon will be low. Is the viewer higher? For example, if the viewer is on top of a mountain looking over a valley with houses, then you will see that the viewer can see all the roofs, because it is standing very high and the horizon will be much higher than the houses. Well, that's the whole story. I hope this was helpful. Well, maybe I will make another one with 2 points on the horizon. So now I did one, but you can also construct 3D with 2 points, and well, maybe I don't know yet. So I hope this was helpful, and see you next time. Bye bye.